Hello, my name is Muhammad Mawad, and today I'm going to be talking about the reflection on purpose, pedagogy, and practice in education. All right, so I'm going to refer back to my first lesson plan where I was working with a group of eighth graders about how to solve for exponents. All right, so first and foremost, I want to talk just about the lesson itself. The lesson is more than just a lesson plan, okay? The overall purpose, and I'm just reading off my slideshow, the overall purpose in education isn't simply revolving around presenting content. It revolves around the impact that you leave on students. The purpose of following lessons on exponent was to create an environment where students can use critical thinking skills and not just be able to compute certain problems. And my other goal was to ensure that students are more likely to learn to different ways that where they can understand why they are learning the material that they're learning and how it may apply to real life situations and examples. Why I teach the way I do. I teach the way I do because I like to use all forms of AVID strategies, which allow me to utilize skills such as collaboration, guided discovery, and my approach was basically centered around the objective where students are inspired to learn through interacting with peers and the teacher as well, be able to communicate effectively with the teacher, and where they could reflect on strategies that work best for their own learning capabilities. The goal that I had was to allow the teacher itself, me in my position, to have a goal where I am set out to ask, what do I want students to achieve? And also prepare logistics such as being able that I have to ensure that I have all the tools, the materials, and the time that I need to deliver my lesson. For this lesson plan, I had to utilize making sure that all objectives of the lessons were met, utilize sentence frames, real world examples, and support all learners in the classroom. My other goal was to engage with every student, whether they have an IEP, a 504 plan, maybe they do not speak English, they're an English second learner, was to modify my lessons and maybe use strategies such as in the exponent lesson, there was times where I might have had to use sentence frames or use color coding strategies, or even be able to just have additional support, define certain words that may allow students to struggle because of their deficiency in their learning abilities, which is completely understandable. Moving forward, educational approaches that I used throughout the lesson were important because they allowed me to utilize a set of approaches to deliver the content, which included holding students accountable. Accountability was huge, allowing students to work independently and also work in groups to simultaneously work with their peers and by themselves and be able to answer the question, what happens when we multiply powers? All right, if students can answer this question effectively with group work, and they also have time to work independently and solve problems using critical thinking skills, it combines both approaches of critical thinking skills, independent work, and group work. So that was my educational approach. The technology that I used throughout my lesson was really just incorporating the use of a smartboard. I felt like students who were visual learners, which majority of the students are visual learners, that having a smartboard to project the lesson on the screen was going to be very, very beneficial in their learning and being able to understand the material and really putting their eyes on the board and just paying attention to what's going on. The lesson plan focus was to really make sure students are using a variety of skills such as think, pair, share, modeling, using color coding examples for students to understand the assignment much better and allow, as I said, group activities. I wanted to also incorporate exit ticket strategies, allow for a class quiz where we can come together, discuss the content as a class, and open a classroom where we can foster communication with everybody. Moving forward, the final notes I want to say was my lesson could have improved on just being more punctual, planning time accordingly, understanding that I could have been utilizing more time maybe with group works or independent work and being more punctual. But as I keep teaching, I'm going to continuously improve, and that's my reflection on my exponent lesson. Thank you.